LSU Alexandria tussles with Sagu down in Texas. Number 22 is Xavier. They take on Loyola in New Orleans. And we're going to have Chris Wright talking Langston Lion basketball right here on Cascade Hoops Talk.
Cascade Hoops Talk, bringing the world NAIA basketball one podcast at a time. Morning, everybody. How's your Tuesday morning? It's November 14th. Not a lot of basketball on the docket last night. We're going to talk about a couple of games. There was one top 25 team in action. And then we're going to have Coach Chris Wright. He is coming on to talk a little bit about Langston Lion basketball. You might have seen a tweet he put out after their win. He said basically they needed to toughen up a little bit, and I just wanted him to be able to expand on that. So we're going to listen to him after we talk about the games tonight. Sorry, it froze up on me here. So the first game is top 25 game, number 22, Xavier. They took on Loyola. Xavier was at home. This is always kind of a rivalry game. There you go, Bill. Get with it. Xavier ended up winning this game 72-68, but this was a close game all the way through. It looked like Xavier might be in some trouble late. They had a technical foul with 30 seconds to go, gave a couple free throws to Loyola. They got within two, but credit Xavier. They held on. They hit their free throws down the stretch, and they beat Loyola 72-68 to go 3-0. Corey Wells right here, he scored 23 points. He had 7 rebounds. And then TJ Jones, he had 12 points, 3 rebounds, and he added in 6 assists just for good measure. Xavier, really the key to the game, they held Loyola to 37% shooting from the field, so they're 3-0. Oops, I don't want that. There we go. Billy and technology. In our game of the day, LSU Shreveport, they went down to Texas, take on Sagu. They fell 113-82. Kind of a down year for LSU Alexandria. They're 0-3 now. CJ Hall in this game, 19 points, 5 assists. Noah Bowling, 19 points, 5 rebounds. And never say you don't learn something on Billy D. Listen to this. So when everybody says Bowling at Sagu is pretty good, you got to say which one. I was pulling up their roster. These guys have got to be brothers, JJ Bowling and Noah. And then I think this is Trace Bowling here. He's also from Texas, but a different high school. So I'm not sure if maybe they're cousins or something, but there's 3 Bowlings on the roster. So that's your lesson for the day. Sagu, they go to 3-0. And as I said, LSU Alexandria, they go to 0-3. I mean, that's really it for the games. There was a few other games. You can find them on the scoreboard. But let's take a couple minutes. A lot of hype coming into the season talking about Langston Lion basketball. You know, the big turnaround last year caused a big buzz, rightfully so. And Coach Wright, he's got to be the unhappiest 2-0 coach in the country. There's a lot of coaches trade places with him. So we got him on the phone this morning and talked to him. And he was kind enough to give us a few minutes. So why don't we take a listen to Coach Chris Wright, head men's basketball coach, Langston Lions. Cascade Hoops Talk, Billy D. I have Coach Chris Wright, Langston University on the phone. Welcome, Coach. Thanks for being on the show.
Billy D., appreciate you having me.
You know, Coach, you're 2-0, but I don't remember exactly what you said on Twitter the other day, but I know you're not real happy with, I think, your effort. Just touch on that a little bit.
So played, I think 2 good teams, 2 really well-coached teams. It's been 2 good tests for us early, but I'm just kind of with the effort that we've played with so far, particularly on the defensive end and on the glass. I think we're getting out rebounded by a couple of rebounds per game right now. And defensively, while we've, caused a lot of turnovers, teams are shooting a little over 45% on us. And so those are 2 areas that, we really got to get corrected pretty soon if we're going to have a good season.
I think, you and I talked just for a moment before we started that you mentioned them, but the things that really shocked me, Coach, it's no secret around the country. I mean, you have some really premier rebounders on this team. And I see you're, and taking nothing away from William Woods or Midland, they're great programs, but to see you were out rebound, it really shocked me. And then they're just, then it's almost like they're owning you on the 3-point line right now. And that's typically your team's strength, is keeping guys off the perimeter.
Yeah, I think for us, a lot of it's just been, giving up the paint. I think Midland had, 39 paint touches on us, which our goal defensively is to give up 30 or less. We want to be the ones having 40 paint touches a game. And so, if you can't guard the basketball or choose not to guard the basketball, it's going to put you in some tough situations. So, it's early. That's a good thing. But yeah, I'm pretty frustrated with where we are. As a coaching staff, we got to coach these guys better, but we just going to have to get better buy-in from, who we are and what we're trying to do on that end of the floor.
Well, Coach, this is not your first rodeo doing this. I mean, you make a living out of finding guys and putting together a team, and it always takes a few games to meld that together. Does this feel any different than other teams you pull these guys from various places, right? And then you got to make them one team. Is this, on a spectrum of what you've experienced in the past? Where do you think you are?
Oh man, I was up, all night last night thinking about this. I feel like we're behind right now. I think part of it's the fact that we, played one scrimmage in 2 games.
Right.
Typically we played a few more games by this time, but just, and we see flashes of kind of being where we want to be. And, I was talking to a good friend of mine last night, and he said, hey, if as a coach right now, if you think your team's any good, you're probably not a very good coach, right? You probably don't get it, this time of the year. So no, I don't think we're very good right now. We're definitely not the 4th ranked team in the country yet. That's for sure.
Well, the good news is like you say, it's early, but you've got a little break. I'm trying to remember. It's, what do you have? Almost a week and a half, or when do you play again? I'm sorry, I had it up here and I lost it, of course, but you got
we play Wiley on the 22nd. So yeah, we have about 9 more days until we play.
Yeah. And that's at home, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Back at home.
So, so that's actually a positive thing. It's always better to get well at home. I've seen teams before, they lose a couple they're not expecting to lose, and then they go on the road for 3-4 games. It's really hard to fix stuff on the road, right? Because you got fans on you and you're on the bus. And so, you're not in a bad spot at all.
No, and it's great, right? Being able to have, between our first and second game, we had, basically 6 days. And then now to have, I think an 11-day break from Saturday, it really lets you just address, some of the areas you got exposed in. Yeah. And so I don't think it's going to be a very fun 9-day period for our guys, but I think we're going to get a lot better during that time period.
I have one more question. You're not playing that many guys yet. Typically you play the whole roster. I mean, you play a ton of guys. Are you just trying to get more comfortable with some of the guys? I'm assuming you'd like to expand who you're playing.
We really, really, really miss Cortez Mosley right now. He was the defensive player of the year in our conference.
Right.
And was really, honestly, probably our best overall player in the preseason. And so, he pulled a hamstring, so we hope to get him back by the end of the month here. So that's obviously a really good player that we don't have. But yeah, just, I think anytime that you have a lot of new guys, it takes some time to where you can trust those guys to be on the floor and be able to do what it is you're expecting them to do. And I definitely thought we were going to have a little bit more depth than, where we're at right now. But you look at it, Northwest Missouri, in Division II, I think they won 4 national championships in 6 years. There are years they played 6 or 7 guys. Mm-hmm. And so, I tell our team all the time, hey, at the end of the day, all we really need is 7. We just got to find which 7 it's going to be that, that's going to do what we want them to do and play how we want them to play.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember Ralph Miller was at Oregon State for years and years, and he played 5 guys. 5 guys. And when he got asked about it, he goes, I'm going to play those. They're my best 5. Those are the guys that we're going to play. So, but that was a different era, man. You're going to be fine. You got really a ton of athletes. Nobody's going to start betting against you yet. It's just And the fact that you're jumping on this early, Coach, you're going to be just fine. You get a couple wins under your belt there at home, and just everything will start to get well. I'm pretty sure of that.
Hey, I love your optimism. I appreciate that.
Well, if I had your athletes, I'd be pretty optimistic too.
Well, we'll see about that. The jury's still out, Billy D. No, I do like our team. I think we have an incredible upside. I don't think obviously we've scratched the surface of the team that we can be. It's just going to come down to how good do we want to be? Do we want to do the little things day in and day out? Do we want to show up to practice when we don't feel like practicing? Right, like all the things and all the choices that it takes to really be great, and that's yet to be determined.
Well, there's a lot of motivation. I mean, the Sooners going to be really tough. USAO looks good. I mean, I'm going to start naming teams and miss somebody, but anyway, the conference is going to be tough.
Oh yeah, really tough. I mean, I think especially if you look at like the top 7 or 8 teams in our league, man, really, really well coached. I feel like the level of talent from this year to last year has really been upgraded, and so yeah, it's going to be really tough this year. So we better get a lot better in a hurry.
Well, Coach, I really appreciate you coming on and talking about that. You're a stand-up guy, being willing to come on and talk about struggles your team is having a little bit right now, and I thank you very much for that.
Billy D, appreciate you having me, sir.
Well, we'll get you on soon after you've won about four or five in a row and you start feeling better about things.
So if we drop our next one, then I'm gonna blame you for jinxing us.
No, you're not. No, that's Southwestern. They're the jinx. Oh, Coach, I always enjoy talking to you. Wish you a lot of luck as you move forward, and I just have this feeling you're going to be just fine.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Okay, that's Chris Wright. He's head men's basketball coach, Langton University. Thank you, Coach.
I appreciate you, sir. I appreciate you, man.
Hey, thank you very much, Coach Wright. Really appreciate him giving us the time. Pretty open, about what he's kind of, I'm not going to say up against, but what they're going through there at Langton. He's a stand-up guy. I'm sure they'll get it squared away. One more thing before we sign off for today. Tonight, St. Xavier is going to go to unbeaten Grace. Unbeaten number 5 Georgetown is going to go to Shawnee State. That could be that has potential. Number 8 Freed Hardman is at Oakwood. I'm not sure if that's NCCAA or D2. I apologize for not knowing that. Freed Hardman also, they're 3-0 also. New College of Florida, they're going to be at number 14 St. Thomas. And then Warner is going to be at number 25 Florida College, who desperately needs this win. They're going to be at home, and they desperately need to beat Warner tonight. So keep an eye on these games. And guess what? We'll be back tomorrow. This is Billy D, and this is Cascade Hoops Talk. Thank you very much for supporting our podcast. Please like and subscribe. Get out to your local NAIA school, because NAIA basketball is the best entertainment value in America.